Hello, my name is Nayeli Moyeda, and I am an education specialist for the Safe School Institute of Crime Stoppers of Houston.
And I am Caitlin Fry. I am also an education specialist. Thank you for tuning in to our cyber safety conversations in partnership with Sprint. Every month we bring to you a new safety topic on cyber safety.
And this month we pulled an article based off of Snapchat. We will be talking about Snapchat in its stories, what it contains, the dangers, as well as resources that can help you all to keep your students safe. So for starters, Snapchat is an app that allows users to exchange photos, exchange videos, exchange stories. And the cool thing about it amongst our teens is that these stories, or say Snapchats that they exchange, is that they disappear. But that's not really the case, but we will get more into that. So the thing is, Snapchat has multiple features. Some of these features include stories. Some of it is streaks. Some of it is snap maps and an app called Discover that's within the app of Snapchat. So for starters, let me start talking about what the stories are. Caitlin, I don't know if you're familiar with what the stories on Snapchat are, but it's very different. So if I send you a Snapchat, like a text message, and you read it, it's gonna disappear. If I send her a picture, just me and Caitlin exchange information, it'll disappear. But now, if I put that same information on my story, it will be available up to 24 hours and it will eventually disappear. However, our teens don't realize that some people can screenshot these messages. They can screenshot and save videos, save pictures. And there's also another feature that's called streaks. Now, the thing with streaks is that, let's say I want to maintain a conversation with Caitlin. I can literally just send her random pictures of anything, and based off of how much I send her, an emoji will appear. Based off of that emoji, it will show how much we keep in contact. And the more we keep in contact, the more cool we are, the more popular we are. It just shows that we're able to just pretty much maintain any type of contact. Now, Snap Maps. Snap Maps is a feature that only Snapchat has, and based off the friends that you have, you can literally see, if these kids aren't on ghost mode, you can literally see anybody who's on Snapchat. So Caitlin, if I have you as a friend, I literally want to pull up, I go to my Snap Map, I see, oh look, Caitlin's little Bitmoji. So it's a little cute Bitmoji, and I'll see like, oh okay, she's at Starbucks, she's at work. I can literally track down Caitlin if she doesn't have her Bitmoji on ghost mode. So another feature that Snapchat has is Discover. And Discover is a bunch of programs from brands that like to, promote their information, promote their stories. And the thing is that some of these information also contains sexual content. So we know that Snapchat is very popular. And I forgot to share, but it's so popular that 76% of US teens are currently using Snapchat. So it's very popular amongst our teens, amongst our kids. And the thing is that because it's so popular, it also comes with dangers.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nayeli, for all that information. And so I'm going to actually talk about the dangers of this. And so with all those super cool features, there's always something that adds to it that you as a parent may not know about. And so it's very important to be educated. And so some of the dangers we are seeing are the sexual explicit messages, such as sexting. Some kids are being bullied through it. The whole streaks thing, it's a popularity contest, and then it upsets kids when they don't have a streak with someone. The fact that their pictures and conversations do delete within 10 seconds, kids think that they're invincible, and they tend to put a little bit more risky pictures on Snapchat and have more risky conversations, even though they actually don't disappear. As well as the stories, anybody can screenshot it, even though it does alert your student when it screenshots. That person now has that information that they sent.
Definitely.
So just being careful about what your kids are sending. And even though I'm going to kind of talk about parental controls, and even though there aren't any password protected parental controls, it is okay for you to be a Snapchat friend on your child's. We actually highly suggest it, and a lot of our parents say, well, what can I do when my kids do have social media? And just being present, knowing what's on Snapchat, knowing what they're doing, and just being aware of what they're seeing as well. And even with the Discover page, that Discover page is not something you can filter through, and so your kids could be being exposed to more explicit information that you might not be okay with. And so even though parental controls lack, it is, again, okay to be their friend on Snapchat. And so Nayeli and I are going to actually give you some tips and resources to kind of navigate this with your student.
Definitely. Good information, Caitlin. Like you mentioned, there aren't any parental controls strictly for Snapchat, but it doesn't mean that you can't sit down with your kid and have a conversation about how to use Snapchat, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. Make sure if you're going to allow your kid to use Snapchat that it's during, their personal time, not during family time. Making sure you're setting some boundaries to make sure that they understand that Snapchat's okay to use, but as long as we're doing it safe.
And I also noticed with streaks too, kids like to stay up all night and use Snapchat.
Because they just want to see those numbers go up for whatever reason. But hey, the world's changing and Snapchat's a cool thing nowadays. And we're not saying don't use Snapchat, but just use it safely.
Absolutely.
And some of the parent resources that we do have this guide. There will be a link in this video that you can access this guide to read for your own preferences. And I know there's also Bark.
Yes, and so Bark is actually a monitoring program that it allows you to have on your child's phone, but it's also what we really like about it is that it's something that you have to sit down with your student and actually talk about. And if Bark actually finds anything on their phone that might be, explicit or it's a risk, it tells you how to have that conversation with your student, your child, which is actually wonderful. So be sure to click the link if you want to read this wonderful cyber safety guide to Snapchat with any resources, tips on here.
Yes, and thank you so much for joining in and tuning in on our cyber safety conversations in partnership with Sprint.
Thank you.
Thank you.